5.1 after 8.1 after we come out of executive session for contract negotiations.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Conflict of interest waivers? None. Open forum time? Anybody got any comments? Okay, moving on to number 5, business and finance. The 5.2, discuss construction manager risk contract. Now, I'll get this going. We're not here to pick any fights or get people mad, but we as a board, our job is to ask some questions and have accountability. And I guess the first thing I want to get into is trust. We got to have trust on what's going on here. And Dave, at our first meeting, we agreed on the points of contact. It was Mr. Lepke, HKG, Scott, and BJ at the committee meetings.
Correct.
Okay, well, you broke your word on that, and you asked Mr. Lepke here to cover that up, and that put him in a heck of a bind. Awkward. Not a way to start out. It's been not going. I don't feel this process has been going very smoothly, so that's just not the way to start out. That's my opinion. Second thing I want to touch on is your estimate on the new bill that's pretty much blindsided us. During the interview, I don't know, I think we should have been told a number, because when you gave us your number of a new bill, you were proposing to do something totally different than what we voted on. Now, I'm going to go through some comparison here. Toby Morris has gave us some documentation on Millbank and the price per square foot, and that's come in under $200. I seen it. I do believe they showed you some documentation. I personally called the GMR for Redfield and had a conversation with him, and with the figures he gave me on the phone, I didn't see any documentation, but they're under $200 a square foot. And with the proposal we read during these interviews, when we hired you, your competitor at White Lake had a building they moved the kids into last year, way under $200 a square foot. And then Toby told us about Lemon. Lemon's out in the middle of nowhere. And they got a construction company out of Rapid City to guarantee that for around $200 a square foot. Is that correct? Is that what he said? I do believe that. We had a meeting with Toby Morris a couple of weeks ago. So, I don't know, it's just your estimation on it's way over 200, and I just don't understand that, how we got there. Now, I was hoping through the bidding process that it'd be a true way to, the bids come in and it is what it is, but your proposal on getting the bids out is May 24th. That's getting pretty late. Again, I talked with a GMR from that's doing Redfield. Contractors are filling their plates right now. I'd like to see the bids out a little sooner, because if people get their plates filled up, we won't have as many bidders. So that's how I feel on that. Are you going to bid on the project yourself, or?
We'll probably bid some of the self-perform, yes.
And then I'm sure you got some buddies that'll bid on it, but if there's not a true pool of bidders, you and your buddies, you're gonna know the numbers, so that's a concern of mine. It seems like you and Dean, well, I'll just say it the way it is, you guys don't get along the best, and things aren't going as smoothly. We did request bids let out earlier than the 24th. Is that possible?
I don't believe that it is.
Can you take us through the process of how you get the bids out?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Why don't I just bring up to speed on the dates that we established. Back on February, let's grab a couple notes here. Back on February 14th, we established a schedule as a goal. And back on February 14th, we had always established that we would have a 100% biddable document for review on May 3rd. That's today. And we received the document today, 100% CDs for our review. The process from there is we take and we review those bids for a week. We have until February 10th to get any review comments back to HKG. And that's at the same time we're asking the school to review the documents and get any of their comments back to HKG by May 10th. Then HKG will have until May 17th to get all those corrections into a set of documents that we feel comfortable put on the street for bid. And we're exactly on that schedule today.
So you can put the bids out May 17th?
The first advertisement for bid, yeah, the first advertisement for bid will go out actually, scheduled to go out on May 22nd.
I think the 24th and written down somewhere.
It was, we moved it up 2 days.
Because it'll actually be in the paper
Their
on
paper is
Wednesday.
once a week, so we moved it to that, up 2 days.
And so the first advertisement is gonna go out on May 22nd, and we'll take bids then on June 6th. And that is the schedule that we published back in early February, and we're exactly on that same schedule.
You think we're gonna get good pool of bidders that late, Dean?
Well, like you said, they're starting to fill up. You know, we have to, we're gonna be calling people. We're gonna call who's out there, to Travis, you and I were both talking about, who we have to call mechanical, electrical, roofers. That's what we talked, when I was talking to Scott about it, I said, we have to get the bidders out. We gotta call them. I don't have a number or know who is or who isn't right now. We really don't have, we're not out for bids, so. But we will be calling every subcontractor we know, and so will be Travis with mechanical electrical.
That is actually our responsibility. And we have a sub list that we'll be contacting. And again, we have a procedure that we'll follow. We'll send out electronic notifications first, and then we'll start making the first round of phone calls. And so we will work very diligently to get good participation. That is one thing that we do very well.
We do that, I'm Matt with Fabris Carlson, the president. We do that through, we have a pipeline system. We have a database of every contractor we ever worked with. So that'll send out a mass email to everybody for the invitation. We'll call, we'll do follow-up calls. And then we also put it on every exchange in the area. So you'll be on the Sioux Falls Bidders Exchange, 2 of those. You'll be in Fargo, you'll be in Aberdeen, Sioux City, and there's probably 1 or 2 that I'm missing. So it gets advertised very well, on top of the papers, Faulkton and American News.
So I'm confident we're gonna have a good amount of bidders on the packages. Now, there is one exception to that. We are doing an earlier boiler package. Those documents are available right now. And we're taking bids on that boiler package on May 15th. And the reason we're doing that package early is because of the lead time on the boiler. And we need that boiler to service the elementary school here this first winter. And so that package, we were able to get out early, and it's on the street right now.
Yeah, I guess, just just comparing to other comparables, how do you explain, you know, if it comes in, if you're as good as you say you are, and it's gonna come in at your price, we'll be one of the highest priced high schools around in the area. How do you explain that to other comparables?
All I can tell you is, I don't know what those other schools, how they were designed. All I can tell you is how this school's designed. And we've spent endless hours dialing this thing in. We have provided all of the backup. We have had hours of conversations with the design team. And based on the individual components of this, I believe that the number is gonna be fairly accurate.
So when you get a quote for your estimate, do you get one quote, 3 quotes, what do you get?
No, our goal is always to have no less than 3 for every work scope.
Well, I guess, yeah, you're probably waiting for your contract to be signed to go forward. I guess I'd like to see us wait on that until the bids come in, and before we open them up, then sign your contract, make sure everything is proceeding the way it's supposed to.
The only comment I make to that is that the contract is a 2-part contract. And the A133 basically just outlines the terms. And it isn't until you accept an amendment, which is when we give you the price, that's when it gets tied monetarily to you.
I'd like to have that guaranteed price not out there during the bidding. I think that could affect the bidding myself. Toby thought it could, so.
Yeah, it's your choice. We can deliver the GMP whenever you want.
Yeah. I mean, as long as we sign on before we open bids, you'd be good with that.
Well, I said, if you sign the GMP before, and if we find out that our estimate is underestimated, the burden is on us.
Yeah.
If we wait until after the bids are open, and if for some reason the bids are higher, then we share the
What I'm
risk.
saying is we'll sign on with you before we open the bids, so.
Pardon me?
We'll sign on with you before we open the bid. But
Okay.
I'd like to have the bids in. Bids come to us, correct?
Bids typically come to us. You guys are welcome to be in the room. Bids come to us, and then they're recorded. And then we go through the process of scoping them.
Well, that's the way I'd like to see it done. I'd like to see the bids come in, then we accept your maximum price if it doesn't change a whole lot from the last one I've seen. And then open the bids.
So what we would ask, we would just that you have representation in Carver's office on bid day. And then as the bids come in, we actually wait till all the bids have been received, and then we'll open them one work group at a time. And then we record the bids, and we'll give you a copy of the recorded bids, and then we actually have to take time and scope them to make sure that they bid exactly what was specified.
So Dave, can you explain maybe to everybody in the room, when we hired you to be our construction manager at risk with the guaranteed max price, explain what that guaranteed max price and what that at-risk part all entails, because last meeting that we had, we were talking a little bit, and if we waited a certain amount of time to do the bids, that risk then suddenly shifted from you guys back onto us.
Well,
So maybe explain that just a little bit, just because I want to make sure that everybody at the table here understands that if there is going to be a change, and if we're going to wait to sign on and do that amendment, if that's going to switch the amount of risk that the school district's going to take on, or if that risk is still with you and your company and what that risk actually is.
well, we're gonna end up sharing the risk. If we wait until we've opened all the bids, I mean, we already know, or I think we have a good idea, what the taste is for a budget. And we know, at least I think that we know, that if this thing comes over, we've still got work to do. And so, I mean, we're not gonna run away from this thing if the bids come in higher. Okay, we're gonna continue to work and try and figure out how to get the cost down. But I can tell you, I'm pretty confident in the work we've put in to date, that I don't see a significant savings. I mean, it might be $200,000-$300,000. And, you know, hopefully that would be the case. But there's always the chance that it isn't gonna be the case. But, I mean, we're willing to let the market tell us. We have no trouble with that whatsoever. And all we need is a commitment from you to have somebody present on the day of the bidding, and you can just be part of the bid. It's completely transparent.
But just so you understand, I'm proposing that we sign your contract before we open the bids.
The GMP amendment,
The GMP amendment.
but we need
Yes.
the initial contract
Are
signed.
you talking about the initial contract, the first
Sign
contract, you
this, not
talking GMP contract?
Yeah, the MAC, you know, the amount of money.
Right, that would be the amendment.
Yeah.
Yep, the
We
first,
can sign that before we open the bids, and then
That-
you still.
that's fine, if you wanna do that, yep. I don't have any trouble with that whatsoever.
Okay.
But we would like you to sign the A-133, because that just lays out the terms.
Yeah.
Nothing's on the agenda to approve for tonight.
Is everybody good with that?
How often do you do that in this line of work, like wait on that guaranteed max price?
You know, it varies. We have some clients that don't want a guarantee until after all the bids have been opened. Over 80% of the time, our GMP is accepted or rejected, or we've come to terms at 80% design development. So we've taken this a little further down the line on the development of the documents, and that's why I'm pretty confident about the number, because we've taken this thing a lot further than we would ordinarily do. And we've got a really good handle on what's in the document. But there is no one fits all.
The only one thing that I would like to see, since the plans have been delivered to you now,
Correct.
quote-unquote, final plans, and now the school's got a week basically to figure out if everything on there is the way we want it before we get change orders and get the process going. I just wanna ask Dean then, that I'd like to sit down next week with you, and I want you to go through, I know that you had the plans, the big roll of plans in my office late today. I'd like you to sit and page through them, I wanna go over some things, I wanna make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. I mean, you know, we've got lots of things to talk about yet,
Yeah.
lots, I mean, you know,
Correct.
we have,
Yeah,
and I don't know when we talk about like paint color on the walls, you know, types of I mean, that type of thing, we still need to do
Well,
and
it's
figure out.
Carpet, but colors you
Yeah,
get later.
later, okay.
But no, I mean.
But I wanna make sure like doors, I mean, we had a discussion about the kitchen door to the dishwasher, being a full door or a half door or a roll door. I mean, I wanna know what it is, I wanna know what kind of locks I'm getting on the doors, I wanna know what kind of doors I'm getting in the classrooms. And if we need to change something between now and before Kybers gets it and we run with the project, I wanna see it and I wanna make sure that I've said, yep, that's okay. And Scott and BJ, I want them at the table too, to look at it and just okay everything before we say, here it is.
Correct.
Because I know there's been some things that have changed along the way, and I just want to be made aware of all of those things from the last time we talked to this time, so.
Yeah. Doesn't look like BG or Scott or Gary's gonna be in the field next week, so.
Yeah, because
We gotta work the day
Just
in.
pick a rain day.
Yeah.
God, I think it'd be good for us to cover the mechanical, electrical.
Yeah, we need to do that.
We would come over, probably us in the morning, or Travis first in the morning, and so we spend the
Yeah,
day,
then
or whatever, a couple days, I don't care. As much
I want to
as-
talk electrical service, I mean, because there's some things that came up that we may not be aware of. I mean, we got a freezer full of food, it's gonna last all summer long, so we need electricity from. So there's all kinds of those things that we need to discuss and talk about, but propane tanks, which we'll get to.
Yeah, anything to add, Dean?
No, I guess we're ready to go. I mean, this, to them, you know, so we're looking, we would like it to come in considerably less, we're hoping, because we just, I mean, it comes down to you you've talked to Toby Morris, I mean, if it comes in where it's at, you have the money to cover that, because that's more than what we have for the bond. So, that's my concern, because I work for you, so.
And I feel we have a good set of plans right now. So, and we'd like to cover that and confirm that.
So will there be a time then before bids go out that you guys come back with the plan that we are putting out there and present it to whomever our public, this is what we are doing, this is what we're taking to bid?
Do you want to do that before it goes out to bid? Because we're hoping to have it out on the street. Like I said earlier, we hope to have the thing out on